Hey everybody, it's Steve Cook with Premier Guitar and PremierGuitar.com. Today we are talking about this little powerhouse, the Keeley Bassist Limiting Amplifier and Compressor. Now let's take a moment and talk about compression on bass and why we do it. We do it because we are not perfect, and as much as we think we're perfect, we're not. Our signal is all over the map, and so you want to use a compressor to try and level that out a little bit. Then it gets dicey because then there's what's called limiting, which can happen much later, but or earlier, depending on where you put it in your chain. But compressing basically takes the signal and compresses it, and that's the layman's sort of explanation for the whole thing. Keeley has been making compressors for years for the guitar world, and they're pretty much a staple on guitar players' pedal boards, and it's because they're modeled after the Ross compressors that are very expensive and sort of hard to come by, and so they make a less expensive sort of version of that. Well, Keeley knows a thing or two about compression, and so they have constructed this for us bass players. Now, it's a beautiful little pedal. Compression's, it's really easy, yet can be really easy to mess up. The profile is not that big. It's about the bar of soap, about the size of a bar of soap, as you can see. 3 knobs and the truth. We have ratio, we have the threshold, and then we have the gain. So, and then of course the stomp switch, we have the blue LED that lets you know, hey, we're on and we're off. And then this shows you, hey, we have power. And then it's also a multicolored LED, which will pop red whenever you're peaking. So this pedal does 3 things, and 3 things very well. First of all, the simplest form. If you don't want to compress anything, you can use it as a gain boost pedal. And you can bump up 20 dB on this thing just by rocking this little gain. Now, what we want to do for the compression side is we want to start off by having a unity volume. So that means it's the same whether it's on or off. So, let me turn this back up. You see that's peaking. Okay, so if I turn this off, it's the same volume. Right? Okay, so now we're good. Now we're at unity. So you have your signal's going to be the same. And then we go into the compression mode. So let's go ahead and activate it. We're going to set the threshold in the middle. Wherever you're going to hit it the hardest. It barely comes on. Okay. So that's our threshold. And then we have our compression. So the compression part starts 1 to 1, which is no compression. And then we ease it on up. We can go 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. And you notice the peaks have gone away. And not entirely, of course, because you're still going to have some dynamics, but you'll see this threshold is lighting up for you. And the signal that you're hearing now seems a little bit more, dare I say, compressed. Hence the name, compressor. So if you are just smoothing out your signal, let's say you're a finger style player, and you hit a little bit harder sometimes, that will kind of tame that. Now, if you hit it really hard, go up to say 5 to 1, so you have a little bit more compression happening. And that way you can't really go past a certain point. That also works for... You don't have to have the slap thing going. You can... And it's just not gonna peak. It's just not gonna hit where you need to hit. Now, if you want to go, if you're really aggressive, like you have a synth bass or you have some, some ridiculous technique, you might want to go a little bit higher. And you can hear that it's really squashed. We're at about 10 to 1. Which is a little bit too squashed for my taste, but again, some people are going to use that because they hit it really hard. Now, the third thing that this pedal does is it can be a limiting amplifier, which means that you basically limit the peak that's going to be hitting your amplifier, and so you can kind of save your speakers that way, you save your gear that way, but at a little bit of a cost because you're going to be sacrificing some tone as you limit this thing. So what you do is you set the threshold basically as high as your gear and yourself can stand it. And then you rock the compression all the way up to infinity. Now, nothing will get through and nothing is going to peak to where it's going to peak. So now nothing but nothing will get through. Any bass player from any genre of music can benefit from compression. Chances are your FOH, front of house guy, is compressing your signal. I'll bet you $1 your studio engineer is compressing your signal. You just don't know it. You know, it's because they need to be able to manage the waveform. They need to be able to manage your signal. And if you can manage your signal on the front end, then save everybody else a lot of trouble. And then people will probably say, hey, man, that guy sounds great. It sounds even. He sounds clean and smooth. And guess what? Ding. Right here. Compression. It's a secret, you know, but now it's out. So go to your local store. Check this one out. It's very simple. 3 knobs and the truth. And it sounds great. True bypass and really easy to read, really easy to operate. And again, Keeley has been making compressors for years, and they do great things. And while you're checking things out, go to YouTube. And if you're not already on YouTube, and check out the PremierGuitar.com YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. You can see more review demos like this one. Check out pedals like this or gear or whatever. And also check out rig rundowns from all over the country with some of your favorite acts. This is Steve Cook in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll see you real soon.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on PremierGuitar.com.